People, what up? What's good? It's a new season of Marvel Snap, man. We got 5 cards, and I just wanted to talk about all 5 of these cards real quick before I do any of the gameplay. Y'all know I like to do these pre-season reviews. So before we even get to it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, man. Join the Discord, follow me on all socials. All the links to all that stuff is in the description. And let's get into these cards, man. So I talked about all 5 of these on stream. So if you guys want to hear a little bit more in depth of what myself in the chat discussed, go ahead and watch the VOD. I think it was called like Mr. Dreadlocks Returns or something. We talked about him for like an hour, but I just want to real quick, just go over all 5 of these. And we're gonna start with the season pass card, which is Blink. Right, so she's 5 cost. She's actually 7 power, and let me zoom in a little bit for y'all. And so her ability is on reveal, swap the last card you played with a higher cost card from your deck. This is so first of all, you guys, we look at all 5 of these cards. Just before I even analyze any of them, I think that they all have sick abilities, and it's unfortunate that these are some of the most random characters in Marvel. I might just be a super casual, but I really don't know who any of these 5 are. Right, but let's talk about Blink a little bit, man. So swap the last card you played with a higher cost card. So this, her ability kind of reminds me of like a Jubilee / Lockjaw type of card. I also think she probably will work with Jubilee. I'm not sure that her ability will be good on like a Lockjaw deck with Thor and stuff, because if you're putting the hammers and stuff down with Lockjaw, I'm not sure that her ability will activate like that. But I think she'll be cool with Jubilee. One way that I'm probably gonna use her is on the ramp deck, right? So you got your, you put your Electro turn 3, you can put Blink out, turn 4, right? Probably get your Odin out, maybe it activates again, or you get your Doctor Doom, your leader. You get some cool stuff off like that, right? So y'all let me know what y'all think of Blink, and as always, man, if y'all want the full in-depth review of all these cards, go watch the VOD. But yeah, she's cool, man. So up next we got Nocturne, and I'm not gonna talk about her too much because she's the season pass card, right? So if you want to use her, you gotta pay for her. But for the rest of these 4, man, we're gonna talk about at the very end, right? What I'm gonna give my opinions of what I would spend my keys on, right? Just to let y'all know. So if y'all want to use Blink, obviously you gotta pay that $9.99 USD or whatever your currency is. Let's get into Nocturne though. So you can move this once. When this moves, replace its location with a random new one, and she has 3 cost, 5 power. So the one thing in Scarlet Witch plus Nightcrawler equals Nocturne, literally in stats. And did those two, or was it Beast? Y'all let me know in the comments, man. Like I said, I'm a casual Marvel X-Men fan, right? So literally, but that's literally what she's a combination of Nightcrawler and Scarlet Witch, and I like that. We look at the other 3 cost, 5 power move cards. You got Spider-Man and Polaris, right? And one thing that I kind of don't like about them is that you're not able to control where Spider-Man goes, and you're also not able to control who Polaris moves over, even though she's gonna either drag a 1 or 2 cost card. But I like Nocturne because you're able to control where she moves, and it's also good because you're gonna be able to run her on Cerebro 5. And one of the problems that Cerebro 5 had was that you didn't really have a way to get rid of those bad locations, right? So in any of those locations that either take away or add power to your cards would be bad for a Cerebro deck, obviously. But now with Nocturne, you can run her on 5, and then you might be able to do something, to be able to stop the bad effects of those locations, right? So you got Cerebro 5. You could definitely throw her on that Hope Summers deck where you run Craven and all the other move cards, or you could just run her on the standard move deck, right? So I think she's really good in that sense. On top of that, you can kind of run her as just a if you don't have like Jeff or something, kind of run her as like an anti-lockdown, at least to deal with Storm. When Storm locks down that one location, you don't got to worry about that, because you just throw your Nocturne down, you move her to the Storm location, and then she gets rid of that that location. Now, like Scarlet Witch, right? It's random. So it's not always gonna work in your favor. But I think she's still all right, man. This is a cool ability. I think her stats are pretty good. And I mean, I have both of these cards already, so we gonna talk about, I'm gonna give y'all what I would pull though. But I think Nocturne is all right. Or I think Nocturne is all right. Let's get into Sage though, man. So Sage 3 costs 0 power on reveal. Plus 2 power for each different power among all other cards here. This is a very interesting ability, right? Obviously, you could throw her on a Mr. Negative deck. I don't like Mr. Negative, but clearly she will work. She would be free on that deck, right? But I mean, you can. So what I was thinking of, what I kind of discussed on stream, man. So if every card is different on your side and on the other side, she's gonna be +4. She's gonna be 314, right? Because you get 2, 4, 6. So you get your 6, you get their 8 for all the other. So +14. If you got Wong there somehow, that could be like +28. So I'm not. And what I also like about all of these cards, I mean, I kind of touched on what you could use Nocturne and Blink on briefly, but I'm not sure that there's a way, a specific deck that I can fit them, that they're guaranteed to fit in, right? I feel like you have to think about all of these cards a lot to be able to throw them on the deck. So what I'm saying, it's not like Nimrod when he came out. Obviously, you're gonna run Nimrod on the Destroy deck, either Shuri Destroy or something with Destroyer, right? You have cards like Hitmonkey. You're obviously gonna use that on the Bounce deck with Sarah or something like that. All of these cards have such unique and interesting abilities. You can't off the top of your head know the best strategy. And that's what I like, especially when it comes down to Sage, man, because you really have to, when you're making your deck, you're just really gonna have to think about, okay, so I need my 1 cost cards to be like 1 and 2 powered, and my 2s need to be like 2 and 4. There's a lot you're gonna have to think about, but I think Sage is really interesting, man. But outside of Mr. Negative or something, you're trying to cheese somebody completely out with Wong, or maybe throw her on a Silver Surfer deck. It's really, and those last 2 are maybes, right? I'm really intrigued to see what people are going to be able to do with this card here. I'm not sure how good or bad she's going to be, but I definitely think that she has a very interesting ability. And I'm excited to use her if I'm able to pull her. Y'all know how the key system works, man. But yeah, man, that's going to be it for Sage. Y'all let me know what y'all think of Sage. Because up next, we got Namora, however you say her name. Unfortunately, I do think this is probably the worst card of the season. And so let's read her ability, and then I'm going to kind of explain to you guys why I think that. So on reveal, give +5 power to each of your cards alone at another location. So obviously, Namor Orca. The problem with Namor, if you have him alone, he could get shanked, right? Problem with Orca is she's 5 and Orca is 6. So if you want her to boost your Orca, you have to have magic so that you could play her on turn 7. Also, you're trying to win one location with Orca. They could shang you, they can rogue, enchantress, they can do a lot, right? When it comes down to supporting cards that are by themselves at a location, we have cards like Omega Red. You stack your stronger stuff in the middle, and probably have like one card on the side. So you got Omega Red, Mr. Fantastic, and Claw. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I would rather use Claw over her. On top of that, her ability is unrevealed. So you have those 3 cards I mentioned there. Those are all ongoing cards, and you're able to protect those cards with Cosmo, right? Make sure nobody's able to Enchantress you, Rogue you, whatever. She doesn't really work with Cosmo because she has an unrevealed ability. So it's tough. Somebody in my chat was saying, you could throw her down with Wong, right? You put Wong, Nomura, and obviously you would be boosting probably like a 1 or 2 cost card on the side for +10, and then maybe get your Odin out. But I also think that, and then you might have Ironheart before your Wong to be able to Odin and then get your Nomura boost as well, and your Ironheart. But again, right, for Wong decks, we already have, Wong, Arnim Zola, Black Panther. We already have White Tiger. You get all your 8-power White Tigers, right? And so if you want to use her on the Wong deck, you would probably have a 1 cost card, because you need to play 1-2 Ironheart, Wong, her, Odin, right? So now you can get Killmonger, right? So it's just gonna be really hard to get her ability to win you a match, basically, right? She's just too hard to use, in my opinion. Now, if we do get her, y'all already know I'ma cook with her, right? If I somehow pull her, spin my keys, y'all already know what time it is. But I don't know if you're gonna be able to do it, right? So that's what I think of the war, man. And then last but not least, we're gonna talk about Sasquatch, and then I'm gonna talk about this little schedule down here, right? So Sasquatch, 6'10", but his ability is cost 1 less for each card you played last turn. So obviously you can potentially, first of all, you might be able to play him for free if you're able to get 6 cards out on turn 5, but you only have 5 energy on turn 5, right? And obviously, if somebody's running Mobius, his ability just doesn't work. I think this is a cool ability, but I feel like there's an issue with this. And so, when I think about Sasquatch, and like I said, I kind of talked about this on stream with my chat. When I think about Sasquatch, something about his ability makes me want to run a Hitmonkey type of deck, something with Mysterio, like that style, that bounce style, something like that. The problem is with that style, you're always looking to be able to dump a lot of cards on the last turn, right? On turn 6. The thing about Sasquatch is you want to dump on turn 5 to be able to play him on turn 6. But because you dumped on turn 5, you already filled your locations up, right? So you're not really able to, and on top of that, you don't really have much cards to play if you dumped on turn 5. So it's just the equivalent of getting, even though he's going to be free, you're just getting a 6 cost card out on turn 6, right? So it's going to be really tricky, you know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't really work well with, if you put Sarah out on turn 5, he's going to be 4 cost, because you get Sarah's ability and then you get his ability, right? So you get the Sasquatch. The problem is, so you spent 4 energy, you only have 2 left. What are you gonna do with that 2? You're gonna put like 2 1-cost cards down. You're gonna put like Hitmonkey and Sasquatch. That's it, right? Like, he messes up the order in which you want to play your cards, right? You don't really want to dump on turn 5. But I think that this is a good alternative, right? If you don't have Hitmonkey, because that's another issue with this game. A lot of people aren't able to get cards because it's random. So I mean, if you don't have Hitmonkey, you can kind of run a bounce deck, with Sasquatch, because you already got Bishop, Angela. Those cards are like pool 1, I think, and then Sarah is like pool 3. So you're gonna be able to do something, but I'm just not sure. Like that deck has so much competition for cards that you can use. You got Falcon, you know, Kitty Pryde, Sarah, obviously Hitmonkey, Mysterio, like all you have all of that stuff. And then Sasquatch, he kind of fits into that, but he kind of messes it up at the same time. Now, obviously, you might be able to use him in something different, but off the top of my head, I can't think of what that is. But I'm sure there is something. If y'all have something, feel free to let me know, man. But as far as you know, I'm gonna just say all 4 of these because you have to buy her, like I said. As far as all 4 of these, I would probably say Namor is the worst. And I think either Sage or Sasquatch has the potential to be the best, but Nocturne is probably. See, the problem is I feel like these are all inconsistent. There's a lot of variables about their ability. So it's hard to say who's the best, but for some reason I want to say it's either gonna be Sage or Sasquatch. Y'all let me know who y'all think is the best out of these 4, and then let's get to talking about these you know, these how they're gonna release and what I would spend on. So I'm just gonna take away because I already have some of these cards. So if I'm looking at each week, right, trying to determine what I would spend my keys on, this is how I see it. Right, you got a solid card right here with Nocturne. You got a great card with Kyra. You got a solid card with Selene. So I feel like week 1, you're probably, you know, I would probably spend my stuff, right? If you've been saving up. I already have Kyra and Nocturne, so I'm probably not gonna spend to get Selene because I don't have Selene. What I'm gonna do, y'all, I'm spending on week 2 because I don't have any of these cards. I think Sage is gonna be really great. I think Legion is still all right, and then I think the Tribunal is great, you know, especially on that Hela deck or something. You just want to run Iron Man and Onslaught. I'm probably gonna spend all my stuff on this week, and I still think that this is probably a viable choice, right? If you don't have any of these. But this is what I'm going for. The Namora week, the Black Knight is obviously a great card, but I don't think that she's gonna be that great at all. I did see that they were gonna, I don't know, it's a leak. I don't know if I should talk about that. They're gonna change something to make her a little bit better, basically. But and then Scar is not bad. I think Scar is all right. But like I said, man, I don't want her. You feel me? So yeah, I probably wouldn't spend on this week. And then this last week, Sasquatch, right? Sasquatch, I think is all right, right? He kind of has that issue that I talked about earlier, but I think he's still pretty good. Havoc, I don't like Havoc at all. And then Ravonna is just a great card. I feel like, you know, if you don't have any of these, I feel like you can't go wrong on the Sage week and the Sasquatch week. Or you know what? I feel like the only wrong choice is Namura. Because, you know, these 2 are cool, but it's just her, man. It's literally just her, unfortunately. I mean, that's just my opinion on it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. As always, y'all be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the road to 2K. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.